Welcome back friends, this is Ram here and it's 16th tutorial on JavaFX 8. In this tutorial we are going to see cascaded style sheet and how to add this cascaded style sheet into the JavaFX application. So let's start with previous example of login form where we have created some fields, label and buttons. I'm going to add a CSS for these label, text field and button. So go to project and create a new cascaded style sheet. So I will give a name, a style and finish. So here is our style sheet. Now I am going to add this style sheet into our application. So to add the style sheet into application, say scene dot get style sheet dot add and in the add get class dot get resources and then add a CSS. So our is style dot CSS and then to external form. And give a semicolon. So there is an error because of this extra bracket. Next I'm going to add some CSS functions for the label. Say I'm going to comment this label. In this label we have added a color for the label, that is white smoke. Now we are going to add this color field in a CSS for the label. So to add that we are going to add dot label in the bracket. I'm going to add a color, that is text field white smoke for the label. So for each element, for example like a label, in a style sheet the class will be in a lowercase, that is a label. So I'm going to add next a color FX text field and say white smoke, semicolon and save. So go back to your tutorial. So I'm going to run this. Before that I'm going to show you how it will look before adding a CSS. So comment this and go to your tutorial and run this. So this is our output and here label is going in the background which has the black color. So I'm going to print this label in a white color and again I'm going to change this fields background, and we are going to add some padding in login button in the CSS. So I'm going to close this, and now we are going to add this text field for the label. So save this. Again I'm going to run the hence here the color of the label is get changed by default color black to a white smoke. Now next I'm going to add button. For a button I'm going to add some CSS for the button. Here we are going to use class a dot button. I'm going to add some padding, so FX padding to add. So I'm going to add 10 for a top, 20 for a right, 10 for a bottom, and 20 for a left, semicolon. And I'm going to add end margin for a button. So FX end margin, and say it is 200, and I'm going to save this again and run this and check whether the effects are applied or not to a button. So here we can see that the padding is added for the button. The top is 10, the right is 20, bottom is 10, and left is 20. Now next we are going to change the background color of these fields. So to do that I'm going to create a single class. So we can add for each label the field CSS like this. This CSS will be affected for each label, and this padding and end margin affected for each button. But when we want to add for a particular field a CSS effects, then we are going to create a class in the CSS. So I'm going to show you how to add a class to give the CSS effects to the particular field. So I'm going to add a say username. I'm going to add a class of get style, then I'm going to get style class and add, say I'm going to add a class name. So I'm going to say field background. Now I'm going to write a CSS for field background, and which will be applied to a text field. Now save this, and I'm going to add a field background class in a CSS. So dot field background, and in field background I'm going to add some CSS style to text field username and password field. So FX, I'm going to set FX text field and say it is a black. Next I'm I'm going to set prompt text field. So FX prompt text field, say gray. Then I'm going to set highlight text field, so with a black color. So FX highlight text field with a black. Next I'm going to add highlight field, FX and highlight field, say gray. And I'm going to add background color, say for that FX background color, and background color in the form of RGB with opacity. So in the bracket red say 255, green 255 and blue 255 with opacity of 0.80. So I'm going to add this field background effect to text field. So here we have added this class for text field, particular text field. Now I'm going to run this. Here you can observe the effects of username text field and password text field. These two are different. The password field is a little brighter than a username text field. Now I'm going to add same effect to password field. So next I'm going to add this same field background class to password field. So password dot, I'm going to copy this all and add to a password field. Now the text field and password field are the same, and check. Now here is our output. Username and password field are with the same text field, highlight field and prompt field background. In this tutorial we have seen how to add how to use a inbuilt class, that is label, button, and how to add another class in the CSS with our own name, that is field background. So this is the 16th tutorial. In the next tutorial we are going to see how to switch the scenes, that is when we press a login button there will be a next scene to be open. If you have any question about this tutorial, you can ask me in a comment section, or you can mail me on my email ID alapureram@gmail.com. And finally, if you really like my work, please like, share and subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next tutorial.